In the heart of Ouagadougou, the capital of Burkina Faso, security was at its peak. The streets were crowded, soldiers were on high alert, and every eye was watching the movements of President Ibrahim Traoré. It was a normal afternoon that was about to turn into one of the darkest chapters in the nation's history, until something unexpected happened. The president's convoy was moving slowly through a busy marketplace. People had gathered to wave, cheer, and simply catch a glimpse of the leader who had become a symbol of strength in the region. Vendors continued selling fruits, women carried baskets on their heads, and children ran alongside the convoy with curiosity. But hidden among the crowd was danger. A group of armed men, trained and determined, had one goal: to assassinate Ibrahim Traoré. They had been planning for weeks, waiting for the right moment when the president was out in public. Unseen by security forces, one of the attackers disguised himself as a fruit seller. He stood silently, pretending to arrange mangoes on his stall, but under the table, a weapon was carefully hidden. Another attacker blended in with the crowd, holding a bag that contained a small but deadly device. The convoy moved forward. Soldiers scanned the area, but the attackers were smart. Everything looked ordinary. The moment was drawing closer. And then, something no one expected happened. Among the cheering crowd was a little girl, no more than 5 years old. She stood barefoot, wearing a faded dress, her small hands holding a piece of bread. Her name was Mariam. She had no idea about politics, no understanding of conspiracies. All she knew was that she wanted to see the man everyone was talking about, the president. Mariam pushed her way to the front of the crowd. People let her through, smiling at her innocence. She stood just meters away from the road where the president's car was slowly passing. Then she saw it. From her small height, close to the ground, Mariam noticed something unusual. The man with the bag wasn't just another person in the crowd. He was sweating nervously, whispering to himself, and his hand kept reaching inside the bag. While adults were distracted by the convoy, Mariam's sharp little eyes caught the movement. She tilted her head and kept watching. Suddenly, the man pulled out a small device. He bent slightly forward, ready to trigger it. Mariam didn't fully understand what it was, but she felt danger. Instinct told her something was wrong. And so, without thinking twice, she screamed. Her high-pitched cry cut through the noise of the crowd. "Bomb! Bomb!" she shouted, pointing directly at the man with the bag. The crowd froze. Soldiers immediately turned their weapons toward the direction of her finger. The man panicked, realizing he had been exposed. He tried to press the device quickly, but before he could, soldiers leaped forward, grabbing his arm and knocking the bag to the ground. Chaos erupted. People screamed and ran in every direction. The president's convoy came to a halt. Soldiers surrounded the car, shielding Ibrahim Traoré, while others rushed to secure the area. But it wasn't over. As the first attacker was captured, the second, the one posing as a fruit seller, pulled out his weapon from beneath the stall. He aimed straight at the president's car. Everything happened in seconds. Mariam, standing right there, saw the man lifting the gun. The soldiers' attention was divided. They hadn't noticed him yet. Without hesitation, the little girl did something unimaginable. She picked up a stone from the ground and threw it with all her strength. The stone hit the man's wrist just as he was about to pull the trigger. The weapon slipped from his hand, falling onto the street. That tiny act, so small yet so powerful, bought the soldiers enough time. Within moments, they tackled the man, pinning him to the ground. His plan had failed. The president was safe. In the middle of the chaos, the little girl stood silently, her bread still clutched in one hand, her chest rising and falling quickly. She had no idea that her quick thinking had just changed history. The area was cleared, the attackers arrested, and the convoy quickly redirected. Yet, before leaving, Ibrahim Traoré asked his men about the child who had raised the alarm. Mariam was brought forward, shy and frightened, unsure if she had done something wrong. But instead, every soldier around her saluted her bravery. The president looked at her with quiet astonishment. She was only 5 years old, yet her eyes carried the courage of 1,000 men. News of the event spread like wildfire. Across Burkina Faso, people couldn't stop talking about the little girl who saved the president's life. In marketplaces, in homes, in schools, her name became a symbol of innocence mixed with unshakable bravery. But the truth was simple. Mariam hadn't acted because of politics or loyalty. She didn't know who Ibrahim Traoré was, nor did she understand what assassination meant. She acted because she saw something wrong and followed her instinct to protect. The attackers later confessed. Their plan had been precise and well-timed. If Mariam had not noticed, if she hadn't screamed at that exact moment, Ibrahim Traoré would not have survived. The crowd would have been torn apart by an explosion, and the nation would have plunged into uncertainty. One child changed everything, and this story became more than just about politics or security. It became a reminder that sometimes the smallest voices, often ignored, can carry the greatest warnings. That courage isn't about size, age, or strength. It's about action in the face of danger. In the following days, Mariam returned to her simple life in the neighborhood. She still played with her friends, still ran barefoot on dusty roads, and still held her bread tightly when she was hungry. But for everyone around her, she was no longer just a child. She was the little girl who saved a president. And though she might never fully understand the weight of what she had done, history will always remember that on that day, in a crowded market in Ouagadougou, a 5-year-old girl's cry stopped death in its tracks. Because sometimes heroes don't wear uniforms. Sometimes they are found in the smallest, most unexpected places.